Robert.
Yo, what's shaking AC?
Not much. I mean, my earrings are shaking.
Well,
Actually,
I won't tell you what's shaking in mine because I haven't been in the gym in a while.
yeah, you might not want to admit that. I
Yeah.
was interviewed on a podcast the other day, and it's in the prep. It said no loud dangly earrings. So when I got on the podcast, I was like, "Can you hear my earrings? Are they good?"
Uh,
So there you go. So if you're listening to this, you got to go find the YouTube video because Robert, do that again.
there
That
we
is, it looks like when you do that, man. Like I've seen this before, so that's why I know. But it looks like your head is like a separate piece. Like it looks like a, oh, it's so weird. Not even just a bobblehead. It looks like a photoshopped head on a in a video. It's weird. Anyway,
go.
so there you go. What do you call
Okay,
that?
well, listen, let's focus here. You know what I was
Okay.
thinking? I don't know where this rant is gonna go, but I was thinking
Okay.
so often when at a networking event and I'm talking to people specifically in the franchise industry, right? This
Yeah, for
question
sure.
does, um, and we're introducing each other, and the person will often ask, what's your concept? And like in the back of my, like, I'm not gonna start an argument here, but in the back of my head, I'm just like, buddy, this is not a concept. We've been around for 8 years. This is an actual business. I know that this is like nomenclature or whatever that you use within the industry, but you're not talking to like somebody who's just getting started. This isn't a concept. We're actually rolling here.
Yeah, that almost sounds kind of condescending. I feel like sort of old school, old boys club question there that when you go to a franchise conference.
Sure. Well,
And
another thing, go ahead.
I get that too. And I'm not a franchisor. So it's like, and who are you? Well, the one I get is who are you with?
I'm with myself. This is my own business.
Yeah, it's such a bad question. Anyway, keep
Yeah.
going.
But the other question that I often get asked is, and how many units do you have? And I
Mhm.
think to myself, does it really matter? Because like I could have 1,000 units and they could all be unhappy and losing money. Like, does that really create, I would rather have a small amount of units of happy, profitable, successful franchisees than just be hucking units like crazy because somebody's got a pulse and a checkbook?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I am so with you. This number of units thing has been it's on my mind lately because it is like there's so much ego that creeps in. And I don't think franchisors mean to be this way, but I think it's like, there's this ego that creeps in about the number of units they have. And even that question, like how many units do you have? It should be like tell me your story or like tell me about oh, I see you're a franchisor. What's your story? Or, more like it's instantly boom. We want to label people. And what I've seen is not all, let's just be clear here, not all franchisors, but the ones that have ego that are all about the number of units and they're trying to grow fast. Oh, by the way, maybe we can rant about this separately, but the fastest growing, ah, don't even get me started. Let's do that in a different rant.
Okay.
Fastest growing, okay? Just remind me of
Yep.
that. But the number of unit thing doesn't say anything, and it's not a measure of success, right? Like, especially what I find interesting is when people are like, they have over 100 units or they have 200 units or 500 units. Well, 500 there. If you get to 500, you must have some happy franchisees, I will say. But if you're at 100 units, you could have like, 99 of them are not profitable. And you go, well, yeah, where are your franchisees at? Oh, we've only been open 2 years. I'm like, what? Like you've been
Yep.
open 2 years. Those franchisees, like anyway,
That goes
so
into metrics like AUV. What's your average unit volume? Well, a franchisor collects off revenue, right? They
yeah,
could be losing money and have a
yeah,
high average unit volume?
yeah. And things like, yeah, really getting into like EBITDA and all that would be more valuable. But I think there needs to be a formula. We've talked about this before. But anyway, it's funny that you brought that up because I see this ego thing come up with, and I don't know if ego is the right word, but I see that people get concerned when I am trying to identify which roundtable makes the most sense for them of ours. Like we
Okay.
have the operations foundations and then we have the operations leadership. So the operations foundations is meant for people who have under 100 units. We say 100, we have to use a number. We have to use something. Maybe we should make some other criteria be a part of it, but we try to kind of dig in and understand a little bit more about the brand and then decide, but we're trying to put people on that roundtable that are they're similar challenges, right? And under 100 units, you usually are still really sorting out franchisee support and all that stuff. Whereas over 100, you should have it figured at least a little bit out, but although that's not even necessarily the thing. So, we're just trying to, when it comes to the roundtables, we're trying to get people to the roundtables where they are gonna get value and bring value to the other people there. Again, it's not about ego, it's about sharing and all that. So I think that creeps over into a lot of things in franchising. You hear it's all about like how many locations. I think it should be like, what's the profit, like the net profit percentage of your business? Like
Okay.
that would be cool. What's your net profit percentage? Like if you have 100 units, let me find out, like, you're probably not even royalty self-sufficient if you grew in 2 years. Like, and if you are, it's not going to last. So it's really technically not royalty self-sufficient. Oh my goodness, this is definitely a true rant.
It
And
is.
I have
It
so
is.
much more to say, but I realize I don't want to hog the
Yeah,
the,
I
the
mean,
air.
we created our own performance index. We got an actuary to come in and weighed out the different effects of labor leverage and utilization rate and all that sort of
Right.
stuff.
I
So
know you have like a mad dashboard. I've seen it. Like, but
yeah,
that's for franchisees, right? You're speaking about like
yeah. So
members
if
of
somebody wants to know how successful we are, I'll say, well, this is the performance index. And to most people, it won't mean anything because it's internal, but it's
right.
the most accurate. And I think where this comes from, as a franchisor, there's always somebody who gets on stage at a conference who is not a franchisor or who decides to make very general statements and makes a general statement like royalty self-sufficiency happens at 50 locations. Or now they're saying royalty self-sufficiency happens at 100 locations. That is so generalized because you're taking in businesses that have low EBITDA margins like food and beverage, or ones
Yeah.
that have
Yeah.
initial whatever, right? Whereas my royalty self-sufficiency is drastically different than that. And so the franchise community starts to say, okay, if you have 100, then you as a franchisor are profitable, which means you must be a good franchisor, which means you are successful.
We got to park royalty self-sufficiency. That's going to be a whole rant in itself. I could go on for
Okay,
3 hours
okay,
about let's park that one for now that I realize, let's just park that for a minute.
okay.
But yeah, the point is that the identity, the identifying as oh, I'm a franchisor with 46. Well, don't get me started on 46 open and 120 sold. Don't tell me the sold. I don't care. We know that a lot of it. I'm gonna freak out right now. I'm gonna go bang my head against the wall. But
This is
let's
awesome.
let
Keep
one.
going. What can I do to fuel the fire?
This is a rant. Okay, so the other thing that you brought up there was the panels and the franchise conferences. Oh my gosh. And this is not just me. I'm hearing this at the AC roundtables. I hear this from franchisors at conferences and other people just in the industry, that let's stop putting people on panels just because of what seems to be their notoriety, like, or number of locations. Do you know how many? Because problem is, what we do at AC Inc., we actually can see, we get to lift the hood. Oh, you've got, we keep using the 100 locations as a thing. 100 locations, awesome. You must have worked hard, and of course they worked hard to get there. And it's not easy to get to 100 for sure, because you have to get past the point of all the screw ups at the beginning to get there. But you could have franchisees that could be so much more profitable if you properly took care of them. So we see people on panels talking about franchisee support. And we're like, franchisee support is not just they call us when they need us, they have an LMS, and we have a really good operations manual and good training. Like, franchisee support is ongoing training, ongoing coaching, proactively coaching, and making sure that franchisees are growing, not just you know, doing okay and not angry at us. That's not a sign of success. So those people sitting on the panel, we get to see, we've often lifted the hood on it and we're like, they shouldn't be on that panel right now, or they should be, but they should be talking about the truth of what they're working on to fix their challenges. That would be valuable.
Yeah, and that's why the roundtables are so valuable because that's what you're getting out of it. People are, they're doing the
Yeah.
truth, but
Let's solve the problems rather than talk about how much we know.
yeah, I'm with
Except you and I know a lot.
it's
We know everything.
all right, let's wrap it up. Three,
Okay.
two, one, go
Go
be
be
awesome.